Hey guys, Tom Path here. I hope you are well, and I just wanted to jump on this video here to show you a little bit more about what I've been doing with my photographs. I hope that this is going to work because my computer is on a real go slow, but I was just processing this photograph. As you know, I've just been going through some old files and reworking some images, restitching some panos, getting my Lightroom catalogue in order because it was a bit of a dog's breakfast. And I just wanted to show you another example here of what we can do here in a Lightroom in order to correct any distortion, and in particular this problem here we have with the non-vertical lines. First and foremost, you notice that in the develop module I don't have all of the options that Lightroom gives you, because I've right-clicked just here and I can go to show all and it'll include all of them, or I can right click here and I can go customize develop panel. And look, there's some things in here that I don't use. I don't use split toning, so I'm going to turn that off. I don't use the Eternal Cove, I'll turn that off. I don't use detail for the moment, calibration, etc. So I click that and click save, and now I've just got the ones that I use the most. Okay, I can always turn them back on, as you've seen, just right clicking here, customize develop panel. But anyway, that's not what I wanted to come in here for. I wanted to come into the transform tool here, and I really don't like the way that my wide angle lens, I've used a 21mm Zeiss lens here at f16, just under a second exposure. I really don't like the way that has meant that my vertical lines there were not vertical, particularly here on the outside of the heart. So you can now see that this line is vertical, so I'm loving that. I'm just doing that via sight. I'm okay with that, but now you can see obviously that we've got this white border around that we don't want. So down the bottom here underneath all of our options here, we can click Constrain Crop, and I can click on that. It's going to crop inside of the photograph, and I've lost a little bit there. If you go back to the crop tool up above here, you can see what I have lost, and that's okay with me because I'm going to crop in pretty tight here, make this a bit of a pano. Really loving what I've got here. I'm not quite sure what time of the day this was taken, but there's some really nice pre-dawn light coming through there. And so let's see if I did have the camera set to the right date and time. Of course, you're not going to know what day or time this was taken unless your camera is set to the correct settings. It was in July, back 14th of July 2015, so 4 years almost to the day. And it was shot at 7:12 in the morning, so I think sunrise would have been just 15-20 minutes after that. I'm going to add a little bit of customary magenta. Ooh, maybe not that much because that's not going to be cool. I'm going to add some saturation as well just to get that vibe happening there. I did notice on the frame before there was quite a bit of moisture, a bit of condensation. So I'm going to go a bit of dehaze here just to help get rid of that, that fuzziness that I'm seeing, particularly underneath here. I might grab this texture slider and just slide this up a little and see what that's going to do for me also. I'm pressing the backslash key underneath the delete key on the keyboard here, and that's showing me a before and after. I like doing that as I go through the photograph here just to make sure that I haven't gone down the wrong path. I am noticing one other thing as I go back and forth here. It does feel very stretched because I've used that wide angle lens. If we go here to the aspect and I drag that to the far right hand side, I think you'll then notice, it's just catching up, that it seems to have stretched everything up a little, which I'm really happy with because again it's getting rid of that effect of that correction in the vertical lines there. So let's go back and forth there. You'll see that's really happening nicely. Not so sure about this bright sky here, so I'm going to grab my gradient slider here. I'm going to draw it on a bit of an angle down here. Okay, I think I'll notice another problem here that my horizon isn't straight also, but I'm just going to drag down on my slider there, and let's just get that happening so that we've got a little bit of darkness there. I'm starting to feel that this is way overcooked, so I'm going to revisit this in a second, but let's just double click on that for a minute. Just take a step back, have a look what's going on here. I feel this sky's a bit overcooked, and look at all these dust bunnies we have in here as well. I'm going to go back to that gradient slider and I'm going to activate that just by clicking on the grey dot. It's now gone to black, and I'm not so happy about it being so yellowy orange there, so I'm just going to up the magenta a little, maybe bring down the yellows to have it more blue. I'm happier with that. I'm somewhat happy with that, although I might draw another gradient over that corner later on just to darken that sky just a little bit more. The overall image could probably just do with a little bit more brightness. Let's just get the whites being a bit wider. Okay, just to lift that up a little. Let's try that a little more. Yep, just lifting up the white slider. You see how the histogram and the white slider isn't near the edge there. It's not to the right. So I hope you can see here that I'm just dragging that slider up, and that's making it really nice and crisp and white in here. The last thing to do, I think, for the minute is just go to the spot removal, and down the bottom left-hand corner here, I have visualize spots turned on. And as you can see, there is a whole lot of dust bunnies in there that one does not want. And it's really easy for me to just click and identify these easily enough here. So I'll just do this for now. I wouldn't do it like this to print. I would zoom in at 100%, and I would get in real tight here and just have a play and just make sure that I'm doing this a little bit more accurately than what I'm doing here. But for the meantime, let's just click done on that and see that they've pretty much disappeared. So before and after, again, that was me before, that's my after. Very happy with that, 5-star that, export that, whack that up on social and on my website. And I think we're pretty good to go. So hope you've enjoyed that little tutorial here on correcting the verticals in our photographs and just doing an overall finish of the shot. The one last thing I have noticed, there might be a little bit of chromatic aberration before I go anywhere else. So let's go into lens corrections, remove chromatic aberration. You'll see that there's a green line along here. I've talked about chromatic aberration before. If I click on remove chromatic aberration, that will disappear. So enable profile corrections. No, let's just remove chromatic aberration. It's got rid of it. It finally caught up, but you'll see that when I turn that off, it's there. When I turn it on, it disappears. So I'm happy with that. Perfect. Good. Love it. See you later. Hope you enjoyed that. Catch you soon. Bye.